Hello guys, welcome. Today let's solve one of the most frequently asked interview questions, which is find the number that appear once and other numbers twice. So if you see here, let's understand the problem statement. That is, if you see this array which is of size 7, here every number appears twice except one number, like 1 appears twice, 4 appears twice, 3 appears twice, whereas one number which is 7 appears only once. So we need to find that number which appears once. So here the answer will be 7. So the array can be of any size. We need to find the number that appear once. So let's try to solve this. Like the basic approach, like if you know the basics of coding, the most common approach will be the brute force approach, which is like take the element and search whether this element exists one more time in the array. So that's how we know whether the element appears twice or not. So the time complexity for this brute force approach will be order of n square. So we need to optimize the time complexity. So we are here to discuss the most optimal solution. That is, so let's see how we can achieve the most optimal solution. So if you know some properties of XOR, let's say we have some properties of XOR like A XOR A will result in 0, and we have one more property of XOR like A XOR 0 results in A. A can be any number. So these are some of the properties of XOR. Using these properties, we can solve this problem in order of n complexity, order of n time complexity. So let's see how we can achieve this. If you carefully observe over here, here 1 appears twice, 3 appears twice, and 4 appears twice. So we need to XOR this. So what I'm doing is I am performing XOR operation over all the elements of the array, like 1 XOR 4 XOR 3 XOR 7, sorry, 7 XOR 1 and XOR 3 and XOR 4. If you see, if I XOR all the elements in the array, these pairs these pairs like 1 1 will result in 0 according to this property, and 4 4 will result in 0, and 3 3 will result in 0. Finally the output will be 0 XOR 7, because here the 7 is a unique element, whereas remaining all elements exist in pair or twice, so those will become 0, and finally this whole will result in 0 XOR 7, which is nothing but 7. So this is the element we need to find. So we found this in order of time complexity n. So the time complexity over here is time complexity is order of n. So we are only traversing the whole array once, and the space complexity over here is 0. So constant space. So we are not using any extra space. Just we are using a extra variable which is of size constant. So let's see how we can code this. Let's check by coding this whether we can achieve the answer or not. Okay, coming to coding part, here we have the standard input over here, which is the size of the array n, which is 7 here in our example, and the array elements, which is 1 4 3 7 1 3 4. These are the array elements which we have taken as example. And so let's code for it. I am declaring the size of int and taking the integer from the standard input, and I am declaring an array of size n. so that we can take all these elements for looping 0 I less than and I plus plus. I am taking the array elements over here. So let's read from standard input to array of I. So I have read these elements. So now we have our core execute, have our part to execute the logic. I'm declaring a variable called answer and initializing it to 0 initially. So let's implement our logic. Our logic is to traverse through the array plus plus traverse through the array, and here I am applying XOR for each element, that is XOR. First I have 0 0 XOR element, every element in array. So initially first it will be 0 XOR 1, and next it will be 1 XOR 4, then it will be 1 XOR 4 XOR 3. Like that it will have XOR operation over all the elements of the array, and after having that we will have our answer in answer variable, that is the element and that occurs once is equals to which is nothing but our answer variable. Let's see by running it. If you see, the element that occurs once is 7. If you see this, 7 only occurs once, and whereas remaining elements occurs twice. So this is how we can achieve this, and here the time complexity order of n, and this is the most optimal way to solve this problem. And thank you for watching. If you like the video, please consider subscribing and liking and share with your friends. Thank you for watching.